Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Pretty robust for Sunday. I did the Sandler thing yesterday, so that bumped some of the stuff to today. I mentioned at the end of Friday's episode, some people thought Amy Schumer looked different. She has now addressed it. On Instagram, Amy Schumer said, "You're right. It is puffier than normal right now," meaning her face. "I have endometriosis, an autoimmune disease that every woman should read about. There are some medical and hormonal things going on in my world right now, but I'm okay. Thank you so much for everyone's input about my face. I've enjoyed feedback and deliberation about my appearance, as all women do, for almost 20 years. She goes on to say she doesn't think she or any woman should have to explain their appearance, but that she wanted to take the opportunity to advocate for self-love and acceptance of the skin you're in. Like every other woman/person, some days I feel confident and good as hell, and others I want to put a bag over my head, but I feel strong and beautiful and so proud of this TV show I created, wrote, starred in, and directed. Maybe, just maybe, we can focus on that for a little while." While she was making one of the appearances, this one on Jimmy Fallon, she said, "It's hard to go on the tour right now because who are we competing with? Who's been filling up our feeds? Beyoncé and Taylor Swift." She said she loves both of them and has seen them both in concert, and jokes, "I can't compete with this. Why can't I have backup dancers?" The Podcast Academy has announced 192 nominees across 27 categories, as well as a Governor's Award and an Impact Award. As podcasting gets out of control, what are we even doing, folks? The ceremonies will be March 26th at the JW Marriott LA Live Los Angeles. The nominees for Best Comedy Podcast are Bad Dates, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, How Did This Get Made, Let's Make a Rom-Com, Love It or Leave It, The Big Flop, and Wait, Don't Tell Me. For whatever it's worth, if you go to Apple Podcasts, the top comedy shows are Joe Rogan, Jon Stewart, Call Her Daddy, Smartless, Conan, Theo Von, The Toast, Giggly Squad with Hannah Berner, The Commercial Break, and Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast with Shane Gillis, Andrew Santino, and Bobby Lee at number 11, Bert and Segura at 12. So obviously the podcast awards have their pulse on what people are actually listening to. And you know what people are actually listening to? They're listening to Neil Brennan's blocks. At least Richard is, because he shot me a note in the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. That was one hell of a segue, Johnny Mac. You did that kind of nicely there, right? Richard knows I dig Dusty Slay, so I ran it through my little transcription machine. I haven't finished listening to it, so what I do is when one of these comes up, I run it through the transcription, and then as I listen to it, I kind of keep notes of like, oh yeah, 36 minutes, you want to get the part where they said blah, 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 blah. But since I haven't actually listened to it, just reading the transcript, I don't know what to look for. But the part I listened to, you explained that way too long, John. I know. They were discussing Dusty's catchphrase, "We're having a good time," and how it works best when Dusty is bombing. He said, "That's where it came from. I was doing a show at a pizza place in New York City." I want to know more about that. Why is there a comedy show at a pizza place in New York City? And define pizza place. I'm from New York City. If you tell me pizza place, I'm picturing a storefront that has the shape of a shoebox, but, bigger. And I don't know why you would have comedy there. There's probably on the wall of the ovens, there's probably 2 tables. And on the other wall, there's 4 tables. And they're made of that porcelain wipe down stuff. You can get the pizza grease off. Is Dusty Slay performing on a crate in the back corner? Like, what's going on there? Anyway, he said I was doing a show at a pizza place. We used to use the term pizza parlor. Do people still say pizza parlor? Pizza place in New York City. And I was just not doing well. And I kept saying, "We're having a good time." And the more I said it, the more the people got into the show. I just can't get over this. I'm Googling Dusty Slay Pizza, New York. And I want to see what comes up. Nothing came up. What if I Google comedy pizza, New York? What comes up? Nothing. All right, one more try. Pizzeria, comedy show, New York. Well, there was something called Comedy Night at Da Vinci Pizza back in September of 23. Could it have been there? Are we on a major tangent? Get back to the show, John. Okay. I was doing a show at a pizza place in New York City. I was just doing well. And when I kept saying we're having a good time, the more I said it, the more people got on the show. Neil Brennan said, "An old man named Dave Chappelle once said to me, you can tell how funny someone is by how they bomb." And Dusty Sled, I think that's right. I never thought of that, but yeah, that's right. And I find if you move around awkwardly, touch your glasses enough, your hat, your face, your nose, people will be like, this guy's weird, but I'm into what he's doing. I'm glad they brought that up because when I was watching Dusty's special, currently the #1 special of 2024, I noticed he was very twitchy. Dusty said, "I watch videos of myself and I think, oh man, stop waving so much. But when I'm up there, it feels fun. I'm into it." Tig Notaro will have a special out on Amazon Prime Video March 26th. They released a trailer. I did my usual thing where I go to pull the audio, and it took Tig, in the clip they picked, over a minute to get to the punchline, and I'm like, that's just going to drag the podcast to a halt. So you can find it somewhere. It's called Hello Again. You'll find the clip on the interwebs. We are told that Tig Notaro's Hello Again is packed with delightfully awkward misunderstandings, health scares made hilarious, and family moments with her wife and children that are simultaneously side-splitting and heartwarming. Notaro finds humor in situations ranging from the everyday to the bizarre, crafting comedy out of hallucinatory text messages, a botched meeting with a Hollywood heavyweight, and a late-night encounter with a mustached fireman who has her questioning everything. Tig Notaro, Hello Again, March 26th on your Amazon Prime Video. John Mulaney tweeted, to all fans in Portland and Bangor, I'm sorry that Pete Davidson and I could not find a date to make those shows work, but I'll be through Maine soon. I hope to see you then. If you haven't already, please go to your point of purchase to receive a full refund. Thanks, y'all. Bill Maher is on tour. He's calling his tour the WTF Tour, which I just find odd because when I see the letters WTF and I'm in a comedy mood, I think of Marc Maron. Why did you call your tour that? You have to know Marc Maron calls his thing WTF. What a weird choice by Bill Maher. Bill recently revealed he has a 2-hour interview with Kanye West, but it will likely never be released. Bill said he found Kanye's political views too, quote, problematic to share on the podcast. Bill didn't specify what Kanye talked about, but he did refer to the rapper as a charming anti-Semite. Hey, Kathy Griffin, what can we expect from your show? She tells the Kansan. Okay, first of all, my shows are highly improvisational. For example, when I got cancer, I was like, first of all, I don't even smoke, but there started to come some comedy out of cancer. First of all, I thought if you got cancer, everybody treat you really well and you could behave badly. So, for example, I'll use the cancer card like a beast. If I can't get a reservation in Nobu, I'll call them and say, it's Kathy, my cancer's back, which isn't true, but I'm not above playing the cancer card for a good table at a restaurant like that. And she addressed Dave Chappelle and said, I feel like for a comic, continue to punch up. I love Dave Chappelle. I think he's genius. Why the F is he talking about trans people for the third effing special in a row? I think Dave is a genius, but I also think he's transphobic. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. You're a black man punching down at a community that has the highest murder-suicide rate in the world, so I kind of feel like you shouldn't. That's a simple rule for not getting canceled. If you enjoy what I do here, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. I will take your money, and I will drive past the donuts chain. I'm on a smoothie kick. I'll go into the smoothie place. They have this Beach Blast, is it called? I don't know, it's like a raspberry thing with some dark chocolate. I tend to get that, and that is a full 400 fewer calories than the peanut butter chocolate one that I like. But Johnny Mac stopped marathon training and the pounds are coming back. You know what I'm saying? Why are you going to a smoothie place at all? It's better than donuts. buymeacoffee.com/dailycomedynews. A Minnesota comedian is overcoming a disability and making a name for himself on the stand-up circuit. That's from Fox 9. He's Sam Bondas. He says, when we mishear people, we have our go-to phrases. Because I'm deaf, I have two. The first one is, that's funny. Yeah, my poor mom, her hearing's gone. She'll ask me about my friends. She'll be like, how's Mike in Cleveland? And if I say, oh yeah, Mike and a frog rented a helicopter. They went to Hawaii and went skiing. She'll go, oh. Sam felt comfortable on stage at a young age. He tells a story where he was at a camp for the deaf and hard of hearing. I made a whole bunch of my deaf peers laugh off one joke, and I was like, wow, that feels great. I want to do more of that. He does some crowd work. For example, he asks somebody in the audience, what's your name? And then responds as if he can't hear the answer. One challenge of performing, sometimes his hearing aids give out and he has to reboot them during a show. He hopes to turn stand-up into a career. He says a lot of comedians want like a Netflix special and all that. That'd be great, but I just want to do step one right now and just make money off this. Sounds like a cool guy, and that is your comedy news for today. Hey, if you like this show, why don't you check out the other show I host? It's called 5 Good News Stories. Number 5 Good News Stories. That comes out 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I tell you 5 stories that are either good news or just so silly that you have to laugh at them. Good news stories wherever you get your shows. More comedy tomorrow. We'll talk about Shane Gillis on SNL. See you then.